9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special Wednesday night edition of Well That FM Figures. Tonight, we're traveling back in time to the 80s and 90s. So get in, buckle up. Let's go back in time. We've got 1.21 gigawatts, and we're going 88 miles an hour. So let's get started with our special guest, Joel from Pure Toyture. How are you, brother? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for giving us your time. I appreciate it. One other thing I want to mention is if you're listening on Apple, please check out our guest on social media. We will list that in the description. So please check that out, and we will list all their social medias so you can check out our guest at any given moment that you choose. So what's up, man? So how are things?
Things are really good. Things are progressing fast with the page. We just wanted to share like the nostalgia, the 80s and 90s from my perspective, especially when I started to figure out different things from the 80s. I didn't start to have a memory of the 80s until around 83, 84. And I just fell in love with that time. I think I explained earlier as far as like it was just a worry-free time for me. You know, I just had more fun with it than ever. And I always say like the 80s, you were born in the 80s, but the 90s raised you. So that's the one thing I loved about the 80s and 90s.
I can't agree more. Like the 80s were such a laid back, just a fun time. And I don't know if it was just because we were kids back then, or if I think the adults even had an easier time than they do nowadays. It was just I don't know, everything just seems simpler, man. And I miss it so much. Like when you get in my car, 9 times out of 10, I have 80s music on, or early 90s hip hop. Actually, is what I love. And like Tribe Called Quest, Public Enemy, all the 80s and 90s type.
It's like
music.
a sin not to have it on.
Yeah, thankfully you can get anything you want on Pandora and Sirius and all those things now, where you can rehash and relive those things, because that's what I loved, man. I don't care whether it's Cyndi Lauper, Huey Lewis, whoever it is, man. I love the 80s most of all. And when I saw your page and you were posting some of the sets from the TV shows, like they just hit me like bricks to the forehead, man. I was just like, wow, these shows are ones I grew up on. And like I start commenting, and then we started talking. One thing led to another, and here you are, brother. So this is awesome for us, man. So
80s music is just, it just has like that feel good sound to it, you know, no matter what genre you partake in.
Exactly. And even the movies too, man. TV shows, everything just goes for the same exact feel. It's just like,
oh yeah, I mean the world went out and got crazy on itself, but
yeah. Some of the things that they've said in the 80s and 90s on the movies, you would be hung right now for saying. And it's a shame because, you know, Sticks and Stones, whatever happened to that? You know, it's kind of crazy that went away.
It's crazy. Like I was watching Animal House, even though it's not 80s, we're talking 78. And there's some scenes in the movie, I'm just like, I brought me back to like 2023. My eyes opened up. I'm like, yeah, today, no.
Yeah.
Then, yes.
Yeah.
Today, not so much.
Well,
I was just like, great movie.
Yeah. I was watching I love the movie Just One of the Guys. And I believe you posted something about that the other day.
One of the most underrated 80s movies out there.
Well, there was a line in that movie where I think he said something about, I think we're raising a fruit. And if you said that now, like I'll probably be hung for saying that on here, but you know, I don't care. I can take care of myself.
But they probably don't even play those movies on TV or nothing anymore. And if they do, you don't get to see half the movie because it's all cut out.
Yeah, plus you'll miss the most iconic shot ever in that movie.
Yeah.
That's one of my cousin always says it's one of the greatest shots ever filmed. The last scene.
Oh, the last scene.
She has to prove her. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to pause it on that. Me and a buddy of mine. We'd be like, "Wow, look at those things, man." Yeah. Not bad. Not bad for a dude, right?
No. Well, yeah. Well, we can go back to today's age. It'll say, "Hey, not bad for a guy," right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love that movie, dude. Like, and a lot of people, they either love it or hate it, and they're like, "It's terrible acting." I'm like, "Yeah, it's terrible acting, but it's the '80s. It is what it is."
And it's not really an excuse. It was just the facts.
Yeah, yeah.
How many cheesy movies can you actually name from the '80s? You can go on and on and on.
Oh, I can go for millions. Yeah, they're all cheesy.
Yeah. I just feel like that's the '80s. I mean, that's just what it is.
I love the cheesiness, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to be perfect. I just want cheesiness, I guess. I don't know.
If you like extra cheese on your pizza, then you'll like '80s cheesy movies.
Damn right, a little bit of pepperoni. Damn right.
Well, the big difference too with movies from like the '80s and '90s and now is movies and TV and stuff. It was made for entertainment back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's not made for entertainment anymore.
No,
it's made to push a
agenda
or propaganda or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Yeah.
I sit there and I'll look, and as soon as that gets kicked in, I'll roll my eyes and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with it. Cool.
I try to overlook all that stuff and just try to, but I mean, sometimes it's hard.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Especially because it's pushed so hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so fast. It's like, they're in the DeLorean going 81 miles an hour with some of their BS. Like here. And then, eventually you're not gonna want to take it no more. And then you gotta just walk away from it, I guess.
Yep. Let me address the chat real quick. Mega Demon here as usual. Thank you, brother. And Art G is here in the chat. Thanks for joining. What's up, man? How you doing? We have Joel from Pure Toyture here tonight, and we're having fun, man, already. And it's just like I don't know, man. It hits me hard. I don't know. The '80s were something else for me, man. And I guess I was in grade school and maybe early high school in the '80s, and I could relate to a lot of them movies, like The Karate Kid, Back to the Future. It was a time where if you got in a fight, we met you at the basketball court at noon, and by 12:05 it was over, and you were friends again.
Yes,
and it's not like that anymore. Now it's more gun related and all that crap, and it sucks. It sucks that it had to go that route. So a lot easier times back then for sure.
Worry free.
But
are you a Ninja Turtle fan?
I grew up on the Ninja Turtles. I loved them, especially the cartoon. And then when the movies came out, then it was like, whoa. But the one big thing about Ninja Turtles that I really liked was the Coming Out of Our Shells tour, the tape that you got for Pizza Hut. So me and my two brothers and my sister our uncle gave us the tape and we'd play it. And we sit there with our wiffle ball bats and act like they're guitars and drums, and we would actually act like we were the band, and it was kind of like get back to that cheesiness, but that was the type of stuff that we did. When you didn't have a lot of toys, you kind of made do with what you had, and we were lucky enough to have bats and music. And music was one of those things, yeah. And me and my brothers, we did that with the Ninja Turtles. We did that with REM. My brother was a big REM guy, and so when he would have all their albums from Green to Automatic for the People, whatever it was, or whatever album he had them all, and we would listen to them, and we would sit there with these bats and act like they were guitars. And he's 45 now, and he plays bass. And every once in a while, when I go to his house, he's jamming out to REM, something he can never kick. So
we definitely had some shinier, happier people back then, for sure.
No pun intended, right?
Right, exactly. You're also into wrestling, so we were talking backstage, and that's my love. I love wrestling, and now that I got another wrestling fan, this is pretty awesome. So, how long you been watching? Have you been watching since the '80s?
Honestly, I think when I came out, when I was born, I think they put a TV right in front of us with wrestling.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know if it's a Latino thing or something like that, but it was like wrestling is life, and we grew up on it. Like I said, you cut my veins, there's turnbuckles. It's either Eagles green, Phillies red, or Lakers purple and gold. I'm a homer until that, but it's either that, and then you can, like I said, cut me and there's turnbuckles.
Oh, yeah. See, I was told I can't vouch for this, but I was told I came out of the womb giving somebody the camel clutch. So I don't know,
Nice.
but that's how much I love wrestling. So I'm right with you on that. But what do you think of today's wrestling? Do you think it's watered down? Do you think it's the same, or what are you thinking?
It's definitely not the same.
No.
I mean, they try to go back to the well sometimes. You know, they want to be able to like curse and do that, edginess of it like it was back in the 90s. And I just think it's a different audience. You can't go back to that. And they're kind of stuck. I think they're like just kind of like stuck in this thing, and I don't know how they're ever gonna, get by.
Well, they tried to make it like so soft, like way too family, like
Right.
I mean, when I was young, I used to watch it with my dad. Yeah, like there might have been some inappropriate stuff, but it wasn't that inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they just let the families decide what their kids can watch. You know,
they would push the envelope but never open it.
Yeah,
like Lita and Edge having sex in the ring. You know it wasn't going to happen.
No,
it's not happening.
And like they would save like the real extreme stuff for the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like,
or you watch ECW.
You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
They should have left it how it was instead of like trying to parent everybody, and they make the decisions for everybody. I think they screwed themselves. I mean, it's nothing like it was. That's why I can't even watch it anymore. Because I just feel it's not the same. It's not. I don't know.
It's not what
we're getting him back into it. Don't worry, Joel.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it with guys. Like it's fun watching it with a bunch of people and stuff. But like I'll never be to that point where I was watching it every Monday and whatever other days.
Never say never though in professional wrestling because you never know.
Is it safe to say that maybe you feel like it's predictable? Like you're sitting there and you already know what's going to happen? Has it gotten to that point?
I guess. I mean, it's just like it's overly fake now. Like
you hear them talking. They're like, swing to the turnbuckle, hit me with the elbow. Right. You hear it on the camera.
I do think now that
you can actually see them miss when they punch now.
But I do think now that Triple H took over, it's a little less scripted, word for word, if that makes sense. Like
I know, but you guys have been saying that for a year, and it's still pretty much what it was.
I see some differences with Triple H, but I know McMahon's still in the background until he goes away permanently. I hate to say that, it's probably going to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't wish that on anybody, but McMahon's a different breed, dude. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, if they would take a page out of the Macho Man Ricky Steamboat match, where everything was choreographed
WrestleMania 3. Oh,
yeah, like Macho Man had choreographed that match by number.
Yep.
And it was up to Ricky Steamboat to memorize those numbers. So it was like, all right, 3, he would know what it was.
Yep.
Instead of them talking, they talk too much. Maybe they're not working together on the choreography, the week of or whatever. I don't know what they do.
Yeah, it was a little more evident too when COVID, because it was no audience and you could hear every single word. Yeah, it was bad.
Brutal. Let their wrestlers do cocaine again and we'll be fine. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, look at all those interviews with Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh my god,
they're fucking nuts.
Nobody knew what they were talking about, and we just like, all right.
All they had to do was go, "Oh yeah," and you're like, "Oh shit!"
This call each other brother.
That's you were just waiting for those guys to have a heart attack on this, like any minute,
What do you think of AEW?
Like I said, I don't watch it, and I feel bad that I don't watch it. I don't feel like I have given it the shot that it kind of deserves, I guess. And I wish I had more time to watch, and I think I just need to give it something. Even if it's an hour of my time to watch, just give it a shot. Watch one episode, but I can't judge it by just one episode. I know a lot of people are probably listening that are big fans of AEW, and I don't mean no disrespect. It's just
I piss them off all the time. Don't worry.
At the end of the day, it's no WWE. It's not, and WWE now is not even WWF. It's what I mean. In that sense, it's not what we're used to.
I mean, if you took AEW and you gave the storylines that WWE sometimes come up with, it would be the best of both worlds. You'd have the pure wrestling and you would have the storylines. But it seems like WWE has the storylines and then AEW has the pure wrestling.
Right.
Like you would get on World Championship Wrestling at 6:05 on a Saturday type wrestling.
TBS.
Yes. Right after Small Wonder. But it seemed like if you can get both of those worlds together, then you have the perfect match for what everybody wants. Right now, Tony Khan cannot write a story to save his life, and that's where I have the biggest struggle watching it. And I give it a shot every Wednesday. After I get off this show tonight, I will go on there and I'll watch for 5 minutes, and I'll fall asleep. It's like no dose for me, man. I'm out. Like it's boring to me.
So
I
it's
don't
your
want to
version
see
of
a wrestling match
ASMR.
without a story. I don't want to see people I've never heard of be on live TV where people who deserve to be on TV haven't been seen for months.
Right.
Like
And they're getting
Miro
paid.
and like Andrade and all those
Yeah.
guys, you know?
But you would think that, you know, with all these wrestlers traveling around all throughout the year, all the time, that the drama would just come naturally. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
Most, you know what? It's a big family, honestly. I mean, they're still going to have, just like your coworkers at work, you're going to have disagreements.
Well, not everybody's going to like everybody. It's not
Right.
possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's
you
like
would
every
think
job.
drama
Yeah.
would come
Yeah.
naturally. You think they would just ride with it.
And sometimes they do that. Sometimes they do. Like when I remember when Edge, I guess Matt Hardy was dating Lita back in the day in real life, and then Edge stepped in, and Matt Hardy and Lita broke up, and Edge and Lita started dating. There was a lot of real animosity there.
Yeah.
And that made for better TV.
Yeah, and they let it out.
Yeah.
You know, just like Brett and Shawn Michaels.
Exactly.
With Sonny.
Yeah.
You know, they let that out. And
Mm-hmm.
people were like, and, you know, those were just rumors
Mm-hmm.
from backstage that people were getting. And then to see it play out, they raised a lot of eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, being young, I was only like, at that time, by like 14, 15 years old, and starting to understand like jokes and, you know, sexual innuendos and all that stuff. And I was just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at DX with the whole suck it thing. That shit would never fly nowadays.
No.
Yeah, they can't even say that now. Like
No.
they do the chop sometimes, like out of the blue. Once in a blue moon, they'll do it, but for the most part, they're not really allowed to
Probably get
do all
fined
that
for
anymore.
He is.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying when I say it's a pussified time in the world right now. So, and I say it a lot, you know, and I piss people off, but it is what it is. I mean, challenge me on it. Tell me it's not, and I don't think you'll win.
No,
it is.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Prove me. I always say I don't like being right. I just like proving you wrong.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Challenge you to why you think it's different than what is actually being shown out there today.
Yeah. Challenge me that this is a better time to grow up than when I grew up. There's no way you're gonna win.
No, hell no.
There's no way in hell.
No.
I had so much fun.
6-year-old son likes going and looking at toys from when I grew up versus his toys.
Oh yeah, same with I have an 8-year-old. Same shit.
Yeah.
Plays with
Most toy collectors do, you know.
I've been buying him Ghostbusters and Predators and stuff since he was like 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays with his toys, and in a matter of seconds, they're broken.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There still is stuff that is hit, you know, from his, you know, whatever his Among Us and stuff like that he loves playing. But yeah, those toys too are cheap as hell.
Yeah.
Like I buy him the Sonic figures from that line.
Yeah.
Dude, play with one for a week and tell me the whole thing don't fall apart.
The Fortnite toys are actually kind of cool though.
Yeah, oh, that's a very good line. Yeah.
Yeah, those are actually cool. That's the one thing me and my cousin Los the Collector talk about. It's like, wow, these are actually well put together. You know, the articulation
really cool
is good. So, I mean, kudos to the guys that, you know, create those. Are actually doing a good job.
Yeah, that is a really cool line. I like a lot of their vehicles and stuff too. I don't really buy any of them. My son has a couple of them, but that is a really cool. They did a really good job with that line. I just realized too, there's Hasbro and Jazzwares does them. I think there's two different companies that do
the Fortnite toys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even know
and
that.
I never even tried playing the game. I think the older you get, like your equilibrium goes off. Like anything that spins, like the minute he's like, "Daddy, look, come play this game." The minute it spins, I'm like ready to vomit. I'm like, "No, get me out of here."
Yeah, don't you miss like the time like where you put a video game in where you could just play right in 2 seconds instead of having to wait till it downloads and then does this and then
ridiculous.
Dude, I got a PlayStation 5 and I put a game in and I'm like an hour later I'm like I haven't gotten to play yet.
Yeah,
it's still
that's
doing
only
it.
if you need an update though, or you're just
ridiculous.
getting the game. Once you have it in there, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean the first
was
time
to blow it. Like
Yeah.
that was our only thing.
Yeah.
Like, we just had to blow a game, make sure that
Yeah,
they
you
were
remember
dusted.
sitting there blowing that fucker off so many
Yeah.
times. Like,
Yeah, the
dude,
Nintendo, the first Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, I guess it was. You had to
Yeah.
blow in the cartridge.
So they came
you
out with
put it
top
in, and it'll
loaders,
give
and
you
you're
like
like,
a line across the screen. You're like, come on.
ah.
Yeah.
We were notorious. Like I said, my dad was notorious for this. So we used to play Tecmo Super Bowl, and all of our cousins used to get together, play the whole season, and we played a season where me and my other cousin were in the Super Bowl, and we're going to play each other. So we're like, let's go to the park, and when we come back, we'll play the Super Bowl. Big mistake by leaving the TV on. My dad turned off everything. By the time we get back, it was all off. There goes the season. There goes the
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Oh man.
And then, we were like, well, let's play it anyways. And we're like, for what?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
at the
did it
end of the
all
game,
over.
it's just a regular preseason game. There is no
Mhm.
celebration at the end, so why play it?
Yeah.
So it was a Super Bowl that never happened.
Remember when they then the video game systems finally came out with memory cards? Oh, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
The PS,
I remember
the
sitting
very
there playing
original
like Legend of
PlayStation.
Zelda. Legend of Zelda, and my dad would have the I forget what the book is called now, but he had the magazine, and he would, if we got stuck somewhere, he'd be like, turn here, do this, do that, blow that wall up, whatever it was, man. You'd have
Or like
that.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
only
That was
bought-
great too.
I've only bought a gamer guide one time, and it was for Assassin's Creed 3, where you had to infiltrate one of the camps and assassinate a certain amount of people. But you had to go like a certain route through this camp, sneaking behind tents and shit. Dude, I was
Mhm.
like, fuck this. I went out to the store, bought the gamer guide. I used it for that one map, and that was it, dude.
Yeah. See, I cheated a little bit. Like Legend of Zelda pissed me off a few times, so I'm like, let's get the gamer and we'll just get through this shit and get it over with. And then I remember I couldn't wait for the Adventure of Link to come out. That was the part 2 of it with the other gold cartridge.
That was the gold cartridge.
I
Yeah.
was so disappointed with that game, man. I didn't even get to finish it. I didn't get to play it much. I just didn't like it as much as the first one.
Dude,
I don't know
video
what it
game
was,
Mhm.
man.
systems nowadays, can you still use like cheat codes and stuff? I don't even know. I have
Like the
like
Game
brand
Genie?
new.
I don't know.
No.
Up, down, left, right, BA start for Contra. That was the shit. You had
You
infinite
think
lives.
you would think it
know?
worked for every game? You're like,
Did it work for every
does it
game?
work? No,
No.
but you would think it would.
Yeah.
Unless you got a Game Genie, and the Game Genie would then tell you what codes, and those codes were like 3 paragraphs long before you could
Right,
actually play.
dude. Oh, man, some of those
One
were
of-
intense.
Yeah, one of the worst ones is like Super Mario Brothers. You could jump over the flagpole, and you're like, oh yeah, finally you jump over the flagpole to do what? You just ran out of time. It was the biggest waste of time. And for me, like the gamer, like the Nintendo Power and all those things, that's another thing that I've like, being a little bit older than, most kids and teenagers, we don't like to read anyway. So I would look at the
Right.
pictures and go, well, maybe that's what it says,
Mhm.
because we don't want to read. And just like kids today, like I don't
Yeah.
want to read this stuff. I just want to finish the game.
Yeah.
And hand to God on this, I've never finished one video. The one video game I've always wanted to finish or watch somebody finish was Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I just want to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
somebody beat it. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just want to sit there and go, wow, you beat it. I don't know. It's a weird thing, I guess. But I
Yeah,
never
that game
finished it.
right there. Once you got you had to dip twice to the left and twice to the
Mhm.
right, and then hit them. Once you got that down pat, you could beat him every time. But it was hard to get there, man.
Yeah.
It was hard. Like,
Yeah, I hated Bald Bull with a passion.
yeah, with
And
the
then-
you had to hit him in the belly, I think it was, and
Yeah.
then you go, "Wah, wah, 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 wah." Yeah, yeah, that
And
was.
then what sucks about it, later down the line, I became that I looked like him. You know what I mean? Like that's because Bald Bull is all bald. He had like a beard and stuff like that. And I was like, and he's a big dude. And I was like, you know what? I'm bald. I'm dark complexion. I got a beard. You know what? Look at, I'm Bald Bull now. So,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. Fun times, man. That shit like Metroid. That was another video game I loved. That was
I was
fun.
blown away when I found out that was a girl.
I think we all were.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, wait, that's a girl?
Yeah. I'm thinking like, wait a minute. I had to think about that for a minute, but yeah, I'm picturing him now. It was a girl. Yeah, so I do remember somebody breaking that news to me
I
now.
think I remember being in denial for a while. And
Yeah, like I did all this work with a girl. Come on, like it's ridiculous. But yeah, man. So we have a game for you in a little bit, but like first of all, like what kind of movies were you into in the 80s? Was there a special like horror slasher, the comedy,
wasn't
the
big in-
creepy
I wasn't
nerd
big into
type
horror.
movies, or what?
I was a comedy guy.
Okay.
Like I enjoyed like One Crazy Summer,
Uh-huh.
you know, Better Off Dead,
Mhm.
Back to the Future, of course.
Yep.
Those are my favorite. Revenge of the Nerds. I
Oh,
love movies
yeah.
like
Oh
that.
yeah.
We've
Yeah,
got Bush.
yeah. And even my favorite part of that whole movie is when Booger says to the dorm attendant, and he says, "Move over, sweet mama. I want to get a look at that muff."
Yeah, yeah.
That was one of
You
my
remember,
favorite lines.
you remember part 2 where they went to Hotel Coral Essex and it was hot
Mhm.
oral sex? It was burned out
Yeah,
because the letters were burned out. That was fucking awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
me and
then
my buddy, we used to watch Revenge of the Nerds all the time, man. It was,
great movie.
Those
yeah,
movies used to be
definitely a
on like
classic.
TV every weekend.
Porky's.
You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I still.
Porky's was kind of raunchy. That would never make it these days.
No.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
And back then, USA used to have that USA After Dark. They
Yep.
used to show those really raunchy, corny movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm trying to think of the host. I don't know if her name was Rhonda. She was like some big, busty blonde.
I forget, but I can almost picture her.
Yeah. And
Like
she
in a
used to, like,
dark
just
room and
yeah, like
yeah.
weird stuff. And then they would always show the stupidest movies. Like they'll show like those really big buff twins,
Mhm.
and they were just like two mimbos, like
Yeah.
just big mimbos. And
Yeah.
there was like
I remember what you're saying. I
yeah,
remember
just
that.
stupid movies. And I remember one of the movies was a cop movie, and here there was like dirty cops, and these chicks
Mhm.
handcuffed one of the dirty cops, and they took his license out, and his his ID was Big Nightstick. That was his name. And they pulled his pants down. And I was like, what kind of movie is this? It was shown on regular cable TV and at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And in between, you'd watch the 1-800 numbers.
Oh yeah. I know.
We are 18, call now. And
It's just so different nowadays. It's
yeah,
crazy.
you can't even do that no more.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's like I said though, this stuff used to be made for entertainment. Now it's not anymore. Now it's made to push a message, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man.
Now they'd be like, call 1-800, we are 18 and woke. And they'd be like, oh yeah, let's call that.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
Yeah, hard pass for me. I'm good.
So, do you collect all? Are you strictly like all vintage toys, or do you
No,
collect-
no. Right now, I enjoy the Masters of the Universe Revelation series that's on Netflix. I really like that. Like I did grow up on the Masters of the Universe in the 80's, but I caught it right at the end of its run.
Yeah.
So
okay.
you know, I'd watch it after school. Same thing with like Transformers and then like Thundercats and all that. And
Ooh,
but
Thundercat.
I really, really enjoy the Revelation. I really enjoy the line. I never opened any of the boxes because I just love them. I think they're art pieces. And then I
Mhm.
do have a few pieces from the original that I purchased and stuff like that. But then I have some old LJN wrestlers, some of the old wrestling toys from the 90's.
Oh
like,
yeah, I got some of
yeah,
them. They're nice.
yeah, the hard rubber ones when you just throw
Yep.
them at each other, and
That's the ones I
hurt.
played with when I was a kid. Yep.
Yeah, they would hurt.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh
you
my
always have
God.
to. Like I had a
They were
bunch of them.
weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to have a bunch of them, and then my wife threw them away. She swore up and down. She said they would stink, and I'd be like, "What are you smelling?" She's like, "They stink," and she threw them away when we moved. And
Oh,
then I had an opportunity. One of my clients had. Yeah, I got like a bunch of them. I got Hogan, Piper,
Mhm.
Nikolai Volkov. I even got a Lou Albano. Are you interested in them? And I'm like, hell yeah, bring them shits back. And
Yeah.
then she came down and she was like, no. And I'm like, yeah, they're back. And guess what?
Yeah.
They don't stink.
Yeah. I made a mistake by selling all of mine. I had them on card and in a box, played with both. I had a bunch of each. I sold them in like 2007. But then when I started collecting again, they were the first things I went back to. And I actually got one that I never had before, was a Ken Patera.
Ooh.
I actually picked him up for $40 at a collectible store. So, but unfortunately, they're just throwing in my closet right now. I have to put them on my shelf and do something with them because they are like, I used to play with them and with the wrestling ring, and I would make my own WrestleMania matches and shit. It would be
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun. I'd be there for hours, dude.
Mhm.
It was so much fun back then.
I wish I would have. I still had a lot of the stuff from when I grew up, but
Mhm.
you know,
Me too.
collecting wasn't like it is now. You know, like we just didn't think there was any reason to even save this stuff.
Yeah,
No.
you just didn't know. Like if
Yeah.
I knew then what I know now, man,
Right.
I could be a rich man because I would have. I had a lot of the LJNs on card, and they still had the Toys R Us and the Kitty World. Kitty World was a store in Delaware. I don't know if anybody ever heard of that besides me, but it would have like the $8.97 sticker still on them.
Wow.
And it's just unfortunate that as you move as an adult, you keep moving from house to house. You feel like you have to unload things and make it a little easier, lighter of a load. And that's what happened to me back then. But I wish I did not at this point, but I did.
And now we're out there hunting like fiends. We're out there scratching
and now I'm almost
looking
50
around,
looking for them.
turning things over,
Right.
Exactly.
spending
That's
more
so
money
fun.
than what they're actually worth at one point.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Sometimes.
Did you,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask him if you watched the new the trailer for the new Ninja Turtle movie, and how you did like how do you feel about it compared to like the turtles we grew up with?
Like the newer ones they just came out with not too long ago, a couple years ago.
No, the brand new
They have
trailer.
a brand new one. I didn't even see it.
Oh, you didn't see it yet?
No.
Have you seen the toys or anything yet?
I seen the other day. I went to Walmart and they looked like they were geeking out. Like their eyes were all bulged. Is that the new toy line
No,
that they have
those
out now?
No, those aren't the new ones either.
Those aren't the new ones.
No,
Okay,
they're-
well I need to do some homework.
I think they're Target exclusives, right? Or
What?
the new
I saw
one?
them at Walmart. I think.
No, they're not. The new ones I'm talking about aren't out yet. They don't come out till like
Okay.
Oh, they're the
Okay,
DC
well, then
ones,
I got some homework to do.
yeah. Watch the new trailer and
Okay.
check out
the McFarlane ones, right?
No, they're Playmates. It's for the new
Oh,
Seth Rogen
okay.
movie.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about turtles. I haven't watched them much and growing up and stuff like that. I was a little bit out of my time, I think. So G.I. Joe and Thundercats was more going to my grandmom's house after work. I mean, after school, while my dad was at work. I would watch Thundercats and G.I. Joe after school. But yeah, the turtles came along later on, I think, for me.
Yeah, I remember watching G.I. Joe before we went to school.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they had their PSAs at the end, and then you just like feel good about yourself, and you're like,
Yeah.
you know what, today I am
Yeah.
going to treat somebody good. Then you go to school, and then you're like bullying somebody, and you're like totally forgot about it. You know,
If I'm not mistaken, it was like 4 and 4:30. Those two shows were on for me
really
in the afternoon. So
growing up, I think He-Man was at 2:30. Transformers was at 3.
those two more that I loved. Yeah, and like Transformers back then. Man, I remember having Megatron, the gun. I love that one. It was so nice. I think that's one of the things I sold him back in 2007 when I told you I was selling things.
Yeah.
That and Optimus Prime were in that box, and I'm like, oh man, if I only had them now, damn it.
Yeah. Megatron looked nothing like the cartoon.
No.
You know, and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then I guess they discontinued it because it was metal. Then I'm assuming I remember
it was heavy.
It had some weight to it.
Yeah.
So if you were out there, I mean, it wasn't going to shoot nobody, but you could have pistol whipped somebody pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, these days if you pull that out, you're done.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you might get away, but not today.
No. So we do have a little game, like I said, for you that if you're willing to play.
I'm up for it.
We want to put some slides up and see how much you really know about the 80s. What do you think, Colin? You ready? How 80s are you, Joel? We put a lot of work into that art. See that? That's nice.
I like it. Post-it notes and everything.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for Joe's little game together after you?
So first up, let's see what's first. What movie is this? That's one of my favorites, and I threw it in here because I knew it would be a little tougher one.
It is a tough one. I don't know. I want to say Summer School, but I could be wrong.
No. Want one more try?
I'm lost. So
I didn't know what it was either. So don't
you might want to tell me.
This is Hard Bodies.
You know what? Never saw it.
Never saw Hard Bodies? Go back and watch it. It's fucking great.
I'm gonna have to.
All right, we won't hold that against you. We'll call that a practice. All right.
I didn't know what it was either. So
yes, I should know that. Okay, so I know the guy in the yellow hat.
That's Chainsaw and Dave. You know what they're from.
He's been in a lot of movies. Damn.
I think you just said this one back on the other
Did I say Summer School?
Yep. That's it.
Yes,
Ding, 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 ding. You
okay.
Circle gets the square. There you go. You got it. That's one of my favorites right here. I love that movie.
Yeah, it was a good
Summer
movie.
School. Yeah, was Summer School was the like Chainsaw and Dave at the movies. I love that. I love that movie. But and that's where Kirstie Alley was in one of her first movies in that. Like that was where you first saw Kirstie Alley show up as one of the substitutes or whatever the hell she was back then. But that was a cool movie. What we got next, Colin?
There's so many good movies from the 80s. I mean, I'm still finding new movies from the 80s I've never seen before.
Oh man, there's so many. But the like Hard Bodies, definitely check Hard Bodies.
Yeah,
out.
I want to check that out. Yeah. That's Small Wonder right there.
Yeah, what's her name though?
Vicky.
Oh yeah, you got it.
You know what's crazy? The kid Jamie, which was her brother on the show. He was one kid I just wanted to handle. Like I was like, I didn't like him.
He had that face, didn't he?
Yeah, like I just never liked him.
You just wanted to haul off and just fuck him up. Yeah, them teeth and all that shit. You just wanted to give
I still have that problem with a lot of movies and shows, man.
He just had that.
There's always that one person you're just like, man, I wish I could just.
And you know what? Yeah. He looked like the father on the show, so I'd punch him too.
I wouldn't be. Yeah.
The father had a face too, man. I'd give him one of these across the lips.
Put them in a match with me at WrestleMania handicap.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's a challenge for you, whoever you are, wherever you are these days.
Real life.
I don't even know if he's done anything else since then, but
nah, he's probably not working.
Yeah, so
$20 and a large pizza, he'll do it.
But I'll tell you what, I never forget this show. It used to come on right before WCW Saturday Night, or World Championship Wrestling at the time it was called, and it was like 5:05 to 6:05, and then wrestling came on. So this show kind of is near and dear because of that, because I used to watch this leading into wrestling for myself, and that was back in the Lex Luger, Ric Flair, Nikita Koloff days. So the NWA and all that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And the show was a good concept at that too.
It was different.
Built a little kid, and
Yeah. We got next, Colin. Let's see.
All right, I think that was it for movies. I think the next ones are toy lines.
Okay.
Oh no, we got one more. All right.
Oh, here's the one I told
this
you.
Came up,
I don't know.
Okay, this came up. I seen this thing. I believe is that Jason Bateman?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite shows, and it got cut off too early.
Okay. And you know what's crazy? I saw this when I was Googling stuff, and it came up, and I even said this in my. I don't even know what it is. And I said the name, and here I can see the name. I don't know what it is.
This is a show. This is a show called "It's Your Move."
Okay.
And it was the early '80s. It was one of Jason Bateman's first things, besides Little House on the Prairie, because he did Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
And towards the later episodes of Little House on the Prairie. But this show was primarily Jason Bateman, and Norman was the neighbor. Well, he was like the boyfriend of his mom, as you see.
Okay.
And they would play pranks on each other.
Okay.
And from what I understand, it got called off because of people thought it was too harsh playing jokes on each other.
Okay.
Which sounds more like today's kind of shit than then, but it was kind of weird. But T3 in the chat said that's the neighbor from Married with Children. That's exactly right. It is the first neighbor from Married with Children.
Here's a great question for you. We all know him as Steve Rhodes, but what was his middle name? Marcy says his middle name in the one episode. She bangs on the door, and she calls him Stephen Blank Rhodes.
I'm just going to throw the word.
Married with Children. I can't stay on that show.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but I'm going to throw the word Edgar out because it sounds good.
It was Bartholomew. She called him
Bartholomew. Holy
Bartholomew
fuck, that's even worse. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to go back and watch this show on YouTube or whatever, this show here was actually typical Jason Bateman. He's always scheming, even like he does in Ozark. He's a schemer. He's the same way in this show. So if you ever get a chance, go back and check this show out.
Super sarcastic also.
Super sarcastic. He actually, in one episode, he booked a band for the prom and they canceled. And he actually got a bunch of skeletons from the biology lab and he put them all together and they were just sitting there banging the drums and he had the music in the background and all the kids thought it was a real goddamn band and all that stuff. Oh my God. So he was always a schemer, exactly like he is in Ozark. He's never changed. He's always played the same kind of part.
They're playing like the Grateful Dead video.
Exactly. Yep. So he's one of my favorite actors, honestly. He's been good in everything he's done. And
Jason
I love it.
Bateman?
Yeah, I think he's been good in everything he's done.
He plays the
Personally.
same guy in everything.
I guess that's why he's so good to me. I don't know.
So
I've always liked
That's
him.
not
I've
even
always
an
liked him.
actor to
Man.
me. That's just like one of
what's
those.
my motivation? How do I play this role?
Mhm.
Teen Wolf 2?
Yourself.
Play that same guy.
Yeah.
All right. No problem.
I always found him pretty entertaining, and Ozark's one of my favorite shows. And this
That's
show
done
here
now
was
too.
what's that?
Ozark is done.
Yeah, unfortunately, they thought about coming. I think they talked about it coming back. I don't know. I don't know if it's totally done
I
yet. I
thought
don't
it
know.
started off good, but I thought it lost its.
Luster.
I thought it lost it. Yeah, I feel like they lost their direction or what something. I don't know.
Yeah. He's always been one of my guys, man. I love this show. My dad loved this show. Me and him watched it together. I remember him always saying they took the damn show off because they were too cruel to each other. That's bullshit, you know. And welcome to
I
2023.
really like Ozark, but Jason Bateman, he's one of those actors that you just want to hit in the face. Everyone, I don't know. It's like most of the roles that he's done, I just can't stand them.
I don't know. I never wanted to hit Jason Bateman, but anyway, to each their own, you know. That's the good thing about 2023. We can have our own opinion, right? I think. I don't know.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
You could always ask
what you got? So you got toys next?
Yeah, I think it's toys next.
Okay.
Damn.
Excuse me. We're tough on you, huh?
Yeah. But I know the name. I can see the name because I know that they would like it would have like lions or something on their things.
Yeah.
I never had them. I never played with them.
This is something I wish they would bring back.
They're cool. I like them.
To be honest, like to you know, just to help you out a bit. I really didn't know until he mentioned the name, and then it kind of hit me like what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee you, once I say the name, you'll be like, "Oh, duh."
Yeah. So this.
I mean, you already know what they are. You said you.
Yeah, I know exactly. I don't know why Centurions are coming in my brain, but I don't think that's it.
No.
So I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me, and then it'll come back, and I'll be mad at myself.
Visionaries.
Yep. That's your second mulligan, so don't worry.
There's actually another toy line that's really similar, but we'll get to that.
I think I know where you're going with that. What the hell was that?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Was that the Mad Balls?
No, you're close though. You're close.
Really? The Mad Balls are cool. They came back out.
What?
There's actually a toy line that brought these back, or they're like their own version of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I see. It looks like air hogs. I don't know. I don't know what those are.
Barnyard
I have no idea.
What are they called?
Barnyard Commandos.
Jesus.
Really?
Christ.
So I picked some good ones for you.
Yeah, those are hard. I never played with that.
He's tougher on you than I was, Joel.
Okay, this is the one that's similar to the first one.
I've never seen those in my life.
But I'm trying to Supernaturals.
Okay. Those are kind of cool, though.
Hopefully you'll get this last one. Let's try this last one.
I guess I was too much into wrestling, so I don't even recognize these guys.
Those aren't the Masters of the Universe, like the Rock thing. Were those the Rocks or whatever? I forgot what they were called.
The Rock Lords?
Yeah. Is that what those are? No, but they were some toys that were like rocks, correct?
Yeah, they're Rock Lords, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing those, and because the one thing I am is I'm a big commercial guy. Like I'll sit there like a dork and watch Dave's Archives for hours and watch 80's and 90's commercials, and I go, oh my god. And growing up, I hated commercials.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, now I'll sit there and appreciate them. And I remember seeing those in the commercial, and I'm going, man. Yeah, but I remember seeing them in the commercial. Those are kind of cool looking.
They actually are kind of. It's kind of a bad picture, but I didn't want to. I thought you were, dude. Honestly, I thought you were gonna get these like that.
That picture straight from the 80's, dude. That sucks.
At one point, I thought they were Beast Wars. At one point, I was like Beast Wars, but nah. But yeah,
that picture blows. Like, We're gonna give it to him though. He got it. He said The Rock, so it's it.
Oh, he
He
got
did.
it. He said,
Yeah. What do
Say
you got
goodbye,
next?
people.
"That's it."
That's it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess you truly are 80s because you.
Yeah, I got 2 wrong on that. But 3.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
but
just
you
a
were
little
you were
fun thing
like,
anyway.
I mean, it's kind of hard to remember names of all this shit, but you had them.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. But at least now you get to go watch It's Your Move and you get to watch Hard Bodies and
Yeah, I got some homework, and then I got to watch the Ninja Turtles.
All the new trailer, yeah.
Yeah, I got to try that. I got to check that out too. So there's some stuff I got to.
Yeah, I'm
look
curious
into.
to see what you think about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it because I enjoy Ninja Turtles.
The
And
art, like the art style of it and everything, is really cool. But
yeah, because I remember the first movie when it came out. I remember going out to the movie theater and just saying, "Whoa!" Like from cartoons to this.
I'll never forget that VHS tape, dude, and the damn Pizza Hut ad in the commercial in the front beginning of it. Oh, dude, the fucker's still floating around my house somewhere. I gotta find that thing.
VHS. Everybody's going crazy collecting VHSs now.
I know.
And DVDs. They want to build shelves and have libraries and stuff like that. And I like it. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I guess there's I think they said one of the most expensive VHS out there right now is Titanic.
I can believe it.
Yeah, I think Cinema Sickness said it's a $1,000 VHS.
Yeah, I know if you come across like a nice sealed VHS, definitely look, double make sure. So you're
and we always go to this antique spot, and he took it out and on his YouTube channel and showed it, and he goes, for anybody who's looking for $1,000 VHS, here it is. I'm gonna leave it here. He left it there, and me and my wife and my son, we always go to the same spot every weekend, and we never look for it.
So T3 says toy companies produce so many toy lines in the 80s, it's hard to remember everything. Yeah, it's true.
Yes,
they actually had creativity back then. Now everything's just a remake or a redo or something like that. We talk about that all the time on this show.
Yeah, they run out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, even movies, shows, everything. It's just like a revamp.
They don't want to take the gamble of a new thing failing. So they want to go for that for sure. Okay, this name is a for sure moneymaker. So we'll just run with that instead of gambling on something new. They're just going to
do it in wrestling all the time. They'll bring back Austin. They'll bring back The Rock. They'll bring back because they know these guys are go-tos and they're moneymakers.
Yep.
Yeah, like they don't have any trust or anything in their new guys. Like they always want to bring back, like John Cena came back the other night. I'm so sick of looking at him. The Undertaker I love, but please don't bring him back. He just can't do what he used to be able to do.
No.
Stone Cold, his knees have been shot for 20 years. Please don't do that to him. The Rock is the only one that I think could actually probably go.
Right.
And I was looking forward to that, like night one of WrestleMania, Rock and Roman, and then Cody and Roman the second night, but it didn't work out that way, unfortunately.
Right.
But I think he's probably the exception to the rule that could come back and probably blend in pretty well with these guys. But it's unfortunate.
He's busy with movies and now the XFL.
Yeah.
Which I believe he's the face. I don't believe for 1 second he owns it. I still think Vince owns it. And he's just like Dana White. Dana White doesn't own UFC. He's just the face of it.
Well, yeah, he's the likable guy. You don't want Vince McMahon's face there while he's like doing things to women. So you put The Rock's face there where everybody loves him.
Yeah,
just like WWE. You got Triple H as the face, but this evil bastard's in the background just controlling some things. I mean, it's not as bad as it was. It's getting there, but I mean, it's still not perfect yet. But I don't know if it ever will be.
Damn, Duffman, I am jealous. Back to the Future 1 and 3 sealed with watermarks. Predator 1 and 2 VHS sealed with watermarks. And Commando VHS sealed with watermarks. You better hide those, dude.
Yeah, grade them like T3.
Let me find out where you live.
Yeah. What's your address, Duffman?
Yeah, I want to send you a birthday card, Duffman.
I want to send you a giveaway or something. Yeah. Or a takeaway.
Better show up with your Megatron toy.
We'll call it a takeaway because I'm going to take them bastards. Definitely.
Now the question is, people who own VHS, VHS, catalogs, let's say, Do they own VCRs too?
I still have a VCR. I don't use it, but I
I
have it.
don't, but I wish I did, and I wish I still had all my old
Dude,
wrestling Starcade '86 and all that shit. Like on, I had all that.
Now you
man.
got to watch them on Peacock.
I can't watch a VHS tape, dude. You put it in, you're like, how the fuck did we watch these back then? Like,
Well, not only that, how do we
Where's
have
the
the
tracking?
patience to rewind the goddamn thing like every time? My dad would get so mad at me when he's like, "This thing's not rewound. You got to rewind it when you're done." I'm like, Jesus. We even had a separate little machine to rewind it, so we didn't have to like use the belt from the VCR to do it.
Mhm.
So, and nobody knows the struggle from the '80s, man, like we do, dude.
No. Same thing with like tape cassettes.
Yeah, they're
Once
spoiled
they
now.
would
They just
run and
pop
they would
on.
pull out.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
couldn't, if your rewind button didn't work, you just use the pencil
right?
Yeah.
and you'd hold it and just like go like move it around.
Yeah,
Turn
and
it
they're
around.
like,
Using my fingers, dude. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
What's a side 2? You know, there's no side 2 anymore.
No.
It's like
Mm-mm.
it is what it is. You know,
A and B, and then when you bought
nobody
a
knows
single,
the struggle,
A was
man.
the single, B was the instrumental.
I'm not
Nobody
gonna lie.
knows.
I used to love making mixtapes on the radio, dude. Record.
And if you
Nobody-
didn't have a blank tape, you put
nobody-
tape over something else.
Nobody even knows the struggle of like having a flat tire on your bicycle and being miles away from home, and you have to walk because you have no phone to call anybody.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking 35 cents to call either, or a quarter, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well,
But wasn't
now
it great
I
not
don't have
having the phone? You were off the grid.
Yeah, you're
You know
screwed.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love that off grid life. Like, if I didn't have a phone, I didn't want you finding me.
That part was
No.
good, but if you needed somebody, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah. You just go to a neighbor's house and you call my mom.
Yeah. I'd be riding my bike like 20 miles from home, and I'm like, I got a flat tire. I'm fucked. I got to walk home.
Well, dude, you
I'm
imagine if the cell phone grid went down right now? You'd have people outside walking in fucking circles, hitting fucking poles.
You wouldn't know what to do.
They would
They would
look
think
like
it's the apocalypse.
broken robots, dude. Just,
They would think it's the end of the world. Oh my God, I can't
they
chase.
wouldn't know
I
what
can't
to
check
fucking do.
Facebook.
They would not know what to do
No.
without their Facebook and their.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I say anyone that was born in the 70s and 80s, early 90s,
Mhm.
I believe it's the last generation.
Yeah, wow.
That's the last generation because today they're lost.
Well, I
Talk
was
to these
born in
kids today, they're gone.
1973, and today, even if I lost my phone, I'd go in a little panic mode. I
Mhm.
can't lie, I would. I'm just so adapted to that now. I just don't know if I could go back to that time now. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird, but
With me, my phone is always going off for
Yeah.
appointments and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
when I get a chance to actually lay it down, I'm like, yeah, just get it away.
yeah,
And all of my friends and family because I don't like calling the people I cut hair like clients. I just feel like that's the other C word you never want to say,
Mhm.
in this business. And so I was like, I don't want to call them clients. And so I'll put my phone away and then they'll go, I text you for an appointment to set one up and you didn't get back to me for 2 days. Yeah. There's, Saturday after 2:00 to Monday night, I don't look at my phone
Mhm.
and talk about haircuts. I just don't. It's something
Mhm.
I don't want to do. I'm like, I did it all week. I don't want to deal with it now.
Yeah, and
And
you
they-
deserve that time off.
Yeah.
You know, you've put in your hours. You know, so yeah, that's how it needs to be. And it's just like a regular job, man. Like on the weekends, I don't want to. I could get my email from work on my phone. Do I choose to do that? No, I don't want to do that because I don't want to know what's going on until Monday morning.
Yeah.
Hit me then.
Yeah.
You know,
Let it be a problem when I get there.
exactly.
I
Yep,
get it.
exactly. So besides 80s, you like 90s also.
Right.
So like music wise, movies, everything, or
Yeah.
or what?
Music was different in the 90s. It hit harder.
Mm-hmm.
It just it went like it leveled up like crazy, especially like hip hop and R&B. You know what I mean?
I
I
think-
still stayed with the pop rock and all that, and you know what I mean. The 80s rock, soft rock especially, it stays with me. Like in my Spotify catalog and everything, I'll have a whole section of 80s rock, and I'll listen to all of them. But I don't go after like albums. I'll go after one hit wonders because those were the best songs. I'm not gonna lie. All the best songs from the 80s were all one hit wonders.
I feel like
And
I feel like the 80s was like party time, and then the
Mhm.
90s was like get real time. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because think about it. Like the 90s, we were just 10 years away from actually being adults. So we had to grow up. So we had 10 years, that 10-year window to party and have fun and get it all out of your system before it was time to be an adult and take in and step forward into that sucky part of life where you had eventually you were going to get the worries of the father. And those are the worries I have now. At 43 years old, I have those worries that my dad had. Like, how are you going to feed your family? How are you going to keep the light on? How are you going to keep them warm in the winter and keep them safe? And that's what I worry about now that I didn't have to worry about then. So it's the scary part with it now is because, everything is up. Prices went up, gas is up,
Mm-hmm.
everything is through the roof.
Yeah.
Was it like that a few years ago? No, it was good a few years ago. Now it's like, it's the whole thing is now the whole mentality today than it was a couple years ago now it's like, fuck you, pay me. I don't want to hear your sob story. We're all going through it. Yeah, of course. We're all in the same boat. So
Mhm.
that's how in my business of cutting hair, I look at it in the sense of, I have two boys. So I go, how would I like my barber, if I wasn't cutting their hair, how would I like him to treat me if I was a client or
Right.
a customer, you know what I mean, per se. If I was one of them and I had my two boys, how would I want my barber to treat me? So that's how I approach treating every single person that steps foot and sits in my chair. Is like, I'm going to treat them as if I need a haircut with my two boys. So I kind of look out for them for most point. I mean, I just gave myself a $5 raise, and I know I needed to because everything's going up, but it hurt
Mhm.
me at the same time because I didn't want to do that to everybody. But
Yeah.
some people don't have a problem paying for sneakers. They don't have a problem paying for this and that. Maybe going partying, drinking. So spending $30 on a haircut isn't too bad.
Mhm.
And I always said about cutting hair is that being a barber, we're like prostitutes. And what I mean by that is that the more men you see, the more money you make. And we only grant you like temporary satisfaction. The
Mhm.
haircut only lasts 2 to 3 days, and then it's no good. Then you have to come back.
Yeah.
So that's why I look at it like we're like prostitutes. And the one thing about barbering and collecting in the industry, as far as the people go, um, it's two different worlds. And I fell in love with the whole collecting community more than the barbering community. And it's no shade at the barbering community. It's just today it's saturated. Like there's so many barbers. It's like when in doubt or when all else fails, I'm just going to be a barber. They think it's easy. Yeah. You can train a monkey to cut hair. You can train a monkey to do a number two, but teach that monkey how to fade. Teach that monkey how to do that. They can't do it. So
Mhm.
everyone thinks they can cut hair. And then as far as there's egos and stuff like that. And I had this barber magazine which I started and dealing with certain people, and everybody wanted it for free, and it cost money. It cost money to do any operation, and once that started to happen, it left a sour taste in my mouth to the point where I was like, I'm okay with walking away from this. Like I'm good. And I am so out of the way with barbering. I look at it this way. I just cut hair for a living. I
Mhm.
don't say I'm a barber. No, I just cut hair for a living.
Mhm.
I'm just a guy who cuts hair, who likes collecting toys and loves reminiscing about the 80's and 90's and nostalgia. That's who I am. So that's a little
Yeah.
bit about me.
Nothing wrong with that. It's
No.
all everything we love on this show. The 80s, the 90s, the toy collecting, the collecting period. Just collecting the nostalgic memories in our head. Um no matter what you collect, it's like that thing that goes off in your head, that memory that everybody who collects that I know, like even me, Colin, everybody we know, like it's that one thing that you walk into the store and you see and you're like, it just clicks and
Mm-hmm. All triggers.
that's the beauty of it. And that's why I love this community so much. I met a lot of good people through this. I've done a lot of fun things. We got a lot of fun things coming. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what happens next, man. It's fun. It's just fun for me, man. And
Yeah, I
just
follow.
talking to people like you who enjoy, like I said, when I see your Instagram posts, it just hits me, man. Like a ton of bricks, man. I'm like, damn, I know that set, and I comment, and it's so much fun just to even do that, like just to see that again.
It's the interaction. I
Yeah,
live for that. Like I
yeah,
love, having an interaction. I think that comes with my career,
yeah.
choice and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
interacting and talking with people. And so when people interact with me on the page, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I wish I
Yeah.
could sit there and do it all day, but
Yeah.
you
Me
know,
too.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we got bills.
That's the
So
best part about going to like conventions. You know, I don't even go to conventions to buy toys and shit. You know, I go there to hang out and talk with people.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Exactly.
everybody's there for the same reasons. They're there because they love comics and toys, you know,
mhm.
or
Yep.
movie, whatever, pop culture.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's simple. You don't have to. It's not like meeting them for the first time and then trying to figure them out or read them and say, I wonder what I have in common with that person. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
automatically
It's
you
just
have
easy.
something in common. Yeah, it's
It's
really
easy.
easy. You know,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
you know, I remember before I used to be like, you know, when I had like Comic-Con and all that stuff, and I used to be like, nah, I couldn't picture myself being in the same room with those people. To now, I'm like, I want to be at all of them.
Mhm.
You know, like I'm engulfed. This thing took over where I just want to be around that stuff. I want to be there all day looking at,
Mhm.
you know, stuff. And not only that, I want to spend money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Like,
And like I
you can't
told you
leave my pocket.
earlier, me and Colin never met in real life.
Mhm.
We did this pretty much just by meeting on different podcasts and had the same interest. But in May, we're going to finally meet each other at ICCC in Nashville, and I can't wait to hang out with him and have a good time because it's like I knew him forever already, you know. And even though we haven't met each other in person, I know as soon as we meet each other, it's just going to be an instant bond, and we're going to have a good time that weekend. And I absolutely cannot wait to Nashville. So it's
You
going
guys
to be
got
fun.
something special here. I'll tell you that much, man.
Well, thanks. I
Yeah,
appreciate that,
man.
man.
Like,
I
I
really
cannot
do.
express my gratitude for having me on.
Mhm.
Especially, you know, when you asked, I was like, you know, I've only been collecting. I mean, you couldn't tell from my collection, but I've only been collecting like less than a year, and the page has only been up less than 3 months.
Mhm.
You know, and it's and like I said, it's just posting away and posting things that I remember, and it's all about triggers.
Yeah.
And triggers are a big deal. I'm
Yeah.
I'm big on ASMR, so it's like the things that triggers people's uh, minds.
Mhm.
That's what I do with my page. I kind of look at it that way. So
Yeah, and it's not even about like you said, you've been doing this a short time, and it's not really about that for us. It's about
Mhm.
like something that we can connect to. And when I saw what you do, I instantly connected to it, and I
Mhm.
was like, we got to have him on the show. This will be a fun time, and it has been. And we appreciate your time because I know
Yeah, thank you.
it's a work night, and
Mhm.
you probably got to go in and cut hair tomorrow, and it
I'm at,
takes a lot
and
of
the thing is, I'm
concentration.
actually
And
I'm in my shop right
okay,
now.
okay,
Yeah, so
nice.
you can see a little bit of this side right here, just a
Hmm.
little bit of stuff that I collect from
Hmm.
Motu,
Yep.
and but yeah, this whole room is just filled with stuff.
Yeah.
And all the people that come in and get a haircut, they're like, they don't really care so much about the Motu stuff. They beeline it right to the McDonald's stuff,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it's crazy. They
Because they all
beeline
can,
right.
because everybody can relate to
Oh
that.
my god,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're all their questions. Where did you get this? How did you get this?
Hmm.
And at the end of their haircut, they leave and they all say the same thing. I'm going to McDonald's.
I get some McDonald's.
Yeah.
Big Mac filet of fish, quarter pounder French fry, icy Coke, thick shake, sundae, apple pie. Hey, get it all. At McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's the old song from the 80's too. See,
There you go.
I got a little bit of a memory left. I don't know. But anything you want to say before we get off of here? I don't want to hold you past an hour. We usually do an hour. Promote
Uh,
yourself. Tell us where we can find you. For the people listening on Apple, listen closely. This is where you can find this man. Please support him. He's bringing back some of the best memories we ever had in our life. And if you can relate to the 80's and 90's, definitely follow Pure Toyture on Instagram. Tell us more about you. Plug yourself. To go
well,
away.
pretty much, and also follow that toy show, Stories of the Great Collector, where we'll be actually touring people's collections, whether it's comics, cards, toys, what have you, whatever it is that you collect. We want to capture that story and we want to tell it. Um, and also, we're bringing up my son's toy page. Is I am Chasen Toys. His name is Chasen, Chasen, and then it was a play on words. Instead of chasing toys, he's chasing toys. So we have a show with him, and he's really good at it. We have a couple episodes up where we're doing some taste testing of Pepsi to his toy hunts. So he's doing really well with it.
Nice.
He loves it. He's also being known by his chain. He has this real big like Pokemon chain that his mom got him, and it's so big, and everyone thinks it's real. This thing is like gaudy, like it's all iced out and stuff like that. And they're like, "Hey, is that chain real?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he gets free things. There's not one store that this boy don't go in and gets free toys. I'm so envious of him. Because
I'll make sure to put all that information in the bio.
Yeah, we'll definitely link all that.
So that's pretty much it. You can find us on Snapchat too under Pure Toyture. What's the other one? TikTok, also at Pure Toyture. And that's about it. So
okay. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on. We're relatively close, about an hour away. So
no, we
will
will link up.
in the
I don't know
Reading
if you're
area,
going to
or you ever
RetroCon.
down here? What's that?
You going to RetroCon this year?
I'll have to look that up. Where is that held?
That's in Oaks. So that's a little bit outside of Philly.
Oh yeah, I went to a Monster Mania Con there in October, I think it was, or September, something like that. So I'll look that up. RetroCon. Message me that on Instagram.
Yeah, I will.
if you don't
I'll
mind.
send that to you.
Yeah, and we'll link up because we're relatively close. So and like we tell everybody when you're on here, we're friends for life, all of us. Once you're on here, and keep in touch. And
Sure.
please, everybody, check him out. The links will be in the description. Thank you for traveling back to the 80s and 90s with us tonight. Joel, I can't thank you enough for being on again. But take care, my friend, and I'll talk to you soon. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being so interactive, and thank you for being here with us tonight. But for now, that's with effing figures, and we'll see you this Saturday coming up. Saturday at 9 a.m., not Sunday, Saturday with the 1/6 Scale Man. And he'll be live with us at 9 a.m. Eastern this Saturday, the 11th. So check us out then. But for now, that's with effing figures, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.